Is Carter Sports back? And today we about to talk about, can NBA players play in the NFL? It's been a heated debate. They've been getting disrespectful out there. So let's go. And if you've been here before, can you please hit that like, please? And if you ain't subscribed, boy, you better subscribe. OG gang, fight on forever is in the build. Today I want to talk about a topic I heard last week Ryan Clark brought up. I know y'all all seen it, y'all sports fans like Carter over here, right? So Ryan Clark basically said can't no NBA players play in the NFL. You know, it was quite interesting. It was curious. It was interesting to see his perspective on why he think that. So Carter Sports, I'm just tapping in with y'all, man. We just chopping it up. I want to know what the Carter Sports fans think. What y'all think? Can an NBA player play in the NFL? Now Ryan Clark, he don't think so. Ryan Clark was like, if a 6'6", 215-pound NBA player come running across the middle, he gonna cut him in half. He about to chop him in half, right? So they ain't gonna make it. It take a certain type of mentality to play a violent and physical sport like the NFL. And I agree. You know, your mind gotta be wired to ignore pain, to, you know what I'm saying, to endure, you know, more aches, and you know what I'm saying. It be hard for NFL players to get up out the bed in the morning sometimes. You know, you gonna be bruised up all the time. Some people's mind ain't set up mentally to be bruised up, feeling some type of ache and pain all the time, right? So yeah, you gotta have a high pain tolerance to play in the NFL. I agree with that part. But what I don't agree at, well, let me start here. What Ryan Clark saying can't be done already has been done though. Antonio Gates, the Charger tight end, Hall of Famer. He played basketball at Michigan State and Kent State. He did. He wanted to go to the NBA. Didn't get drafted, didn't make it to the NBA. Now I ain't gonna be one-sided. I ain't gonna lie. When he was at Michigan State, he did get recruited by Nick Saban. Nick Saban did want him to play, right? But I think he left Michigan State for basketball reasons. Like, his number one sport was basketball. And he played basketball at Michigan State and at Kent State. Didn't get drafted in the NBA. Didn't get drafted in the NFL. I think he had stopped. I don't even really think he played college ball. I think he was recruited, but he never played. So he was just a basketball player. And that was his dream. So he didn't make it to the NBA. Didn't get drafted in the NFL. Wasn't playing college football. So he went and walked on. He went on for a tryout off the streets, off his mama couch, you know what I'm saying, and went and tried out for the Chargers. And not only made the team, but became an NFL Hall of Famer playing tight end. Right? So what he said can't be done. Antonio Gates wasn't an NBA player, but he was a basketball player turned football player. Right? So the notion that an NBA player, which is the basketball player, can't play in the NFL, I don't agree with that. And I'm an NFL guy, but I don't agree with that. Right? Because I gotta put facts over feelings. And the facts is Antonio Gates did it. A second flaw, I think, in Ryan Clark's argument is the first thing in every NFL player say, like I said, if one of them 6'7" NBA players coming across the middle, I'm finna cut him in half. That's what the NFL players say. That the NBA taught lanky NBA players will be getting cut in half, coming across that middle. Here's why I think that argument is flawed if you take off the first layer of that. So we got to be honest and real. If an NBA player get put in the NFL, then he gonna get put on the NFL regimen, right? Now, NBA players, they train and condition themselves to be lean, to be able to run fast, to be able to jump high, to have dexterity and agility, and to be able to run up and down the court all day. So they build a body for endurance and lean, explosive athleticism, carrying a minimal amount of weight as possible. Unless you just Shaq Diesel, that's just a part of your game. You a power player, right? But even the power players, if they got that strength naturally, they trying to improve their quickness, their dexterity, their agility, their athleticism, right? Now, if they was playing in the NFL, we got to be real. Okay, you in the NFL, so you got to get put on the NFL diet. You gonna get put on the NFL strength and conditioning program. So when you train, you're not training for lean. You're gonna be training to add muscle mass. One, to be explosive, and two, to be able to endure all the contact, all the physical contact, smashing your body against other men, play after play. So you're gonna add that weight for strength and durability, right? So that same NBA player that's 6'6", 6'7", he's not gonna be running out there on that field at 220. See, a person that's 6'6", 6'7", if they naturally 220, 210, they naturally skinny, they naturally slim, like say a Reggie Miller, right? But players like Jordan, Kobe, all these players, especially when they got up there in age, like over 24, got out their teen bodies and got into their man body, naturally they'll walk around at like 250. Look at Michael Jordan right now. Michael Jordan was lean like that on a basketball court because he trained to be lean that way. Kobe as well. But when Kobe retired and Jordan retired, they naturally gained about this 20 more pounds just by living normal, like a normal person, right? Not on the NBA regimen, not on the NBA, not training. So a person 6'6", his natural body weight gonna be around 240, 250 easy. And that's not even overweight, right? For somebody 6'6", right? So these same players that they saying they gonna chop in half when they come across the middle because they 6'6", 6'7", lean and skinny, they automatically on the NFL regimen gonna get bumped up to 250 pounds, right? 250, 260, easy. Javon Curse was what, 6'7", playing at 260, and it wasn't a fat bone in his body. He was 6'7", 260, all muscle. Javon Curse was 6'7", 260, 270, all muscle. So these same dudes that you think you gonna be chopping in half because they 6'6", 220. First of all, most of these dudes that 6'6", 220, they not even gonna be playing wide receiver. They gonna be edge rushers. They gonna be playing on the line of scrimmage. Just like I said, like Javon Curse. He was 6'7", 270. Who else out there? Myles Garrett, 6'6", 280. So what I'm basically saying, these NBA players that you saying you gonna be chopping in half when they come across the middle at 6'6", 220, these dudes is gonna be playing at 260, 270 on the NFL field, on the NFL regiment. They're not gonna be wide receivers getting chopped across the middle. They're gonna be on the defensive side of the ball with y'all. Most of these NBA players, like I said, the Anthony Edwards, imagine Zion Williamson. You think Zion, he's 6'7", 260, easy. You think he's going to be playing wide receiver coming across the middle? No, he's finna be a defensive tackle, or a defensive end or something, or a tight end. He gonna be giving out physical punishment. You can't tell me Zion Williamson wouldn't be trucking players in the NFL if he trained and conditioned that way. You couldn't tell me Shaq couldn't have been a great offensive tackle. Shaq 7 foot, 330 pounds, and he was athletic. A young Shaq Orlando that was nimble and quick. You can't tell me he couldn't protect the quarterback or get to the quarterback. I mean, his wingspan, I mean, he's 7'1". He probably got a 90-inch reach. He gonna get his hands on the defender before the defender get his hands on him, or vice versa. You can't tell me Shaq couldn't have played in the NFL if he trained that way. You can't tell me he couldn't. Shaq, Zion Williamson, Ron Artest. Ron Artest would have been a beast on the NFL field, because Ron Artest played in the NBA at what, 6'7", 6'8", at 250, 260. And he still was quick enough and athletic enough to guard the LeBron James, the Kobe Bryants, the Tracy McGrady's. You know what I'm saying? He still was athletic enough to stay in front of these dudes. I seen him. So you can't tell me a Ron Artest that's playing in the NBA at 6'7", 250. You can't tell me he wouldn't have put on an extra 25 pounds and been 275, terrorizing, playing defensive line. You can't tell me Ron Artest wasn't mentally strong enough. And just because you play a sport that ain't based off physicality don't mean you can't get physical. I bet none of them NFL players want to hop in the octagon with Aroldis Chapman. He a baseball player. That ain't even a physical sport. I see Aroldis Chapman lead a man in charge of the other team dugout by himself and whoop on like 4 people by himself. So just because you play a sport that ain't necessarily physical, that don't mean you can't get physical. And you can't tell me that Ron Artest, Zion Williamson, Shaq, and some of these 6'6" guards that's 220 that really would be bumped up to 250, 260 playing edge in the NFL, you can't tell me that they couldn't have ran around some offensive linemen and pressured the quarterback. You can't tell me that. So I disagree. The NFL players looking at it if the NBA player just walked off an NBA court and just stepped on the field. Yeah, he finna get folded. But nah, train him up. Put him on the NFL regimen. Let him get his weight up like y'all got y'all weight up. You know what I'm saying? Let them get their weight up. And these dudes that you thinking you finna chop in half coming across the middle, they gonna be playing defense. And they gonna have 40 and 50 more pounds on them, even if they is playing offense. So what y'all think? Am I tripping? You know, this is a USC channel with football, right? When we talk sports, period. Lakers, Dodgers, all that. But I know most of my fans is Trojan fans. Y'all against me? I feel you. I understand if you feel like the NBA players, because we looking at it as the attributes of an NBA player stepping off the court and hopping on that field. I'm looking at it as these NBA players being turned to NFL players. So even if a team wanted to say, oh, I want LeBron James to play on my NFL team, they still gonna train him like an NFL player. They still ain't gonna expect an NBA player just to hop off the basketball court and throw in some pads. We're gonna have to get him on the NFL diet and strength conditioning, and he gonna have to go through practices and all that, Oklahoma drills, all that, right? But if we talking about coming straight off the NBA court, nah, yeah, of course. But let them get an off season. Let them get a year. Let them come on the team soon as the season ends, and let them get on that off season program, strength and conditioning. Passing league 7-on-7s, Oklahoma drills, practices, and pads. Let them build themselves up. Let them get their weight up. Because everybody got to get their weight up before they hop on the NFL field. I mean, come on. The NFL players act like they just hop out the bed and play on the field. Nah, they in that weight room putting in work. And they been putting in work in the weight room since college. They at least been putting work in the NFL players that's in their 4th or 5th year. They done spent like 10 years in the weight room. 4 years in college. 4 or 5 in the NFL. That gonna do something to your body. So at least give these dudes a year of strength and conditioning, a full off season and training, and I guarantee you that some of the NBA players could play. And when I mean play, I don't mean that everyone will be a star NFL player. I'm just talking about play on a team and be a football player and make it. Not get punked off the field, not quit and throw in your helmet. I'm talking about this survive out there and look like they belong. Ron Artest could play defensive end. He got the same measurables, like I said, as Javon Curse. You know what I'm talking about? Take Anthony Edwards, 6'7", 225, add 30, 40 pounds on him. He could be an edge rusher. You get what I'm saying? Russell Westbrook could be a DB. Russell Westbrook and D Rose in their prime, they got the speed and the agility to be a DB. Deion Sanders wasn't all that physical, so you ain't got to be all that physical to play DB. You can't tell me Westbrook and D Rose and John Morant couldn't at least play safety, right? I ain't saying they would be Troy Polamalu or Ed Reed, but they physical capabilities, they'll be able to do it. I don't think they'll have no problem. Because just like I said, Deion Sanders played DB, he wasn't physical. Darrell Green, he played DB, he wasn't physical. They didn't have to be physical because they wasn't even going to let you catch the ball. And when it comes to the run game, that's what the 10 other players on the field for. I'm Deion, I'm Darrell Green, I'm here to lock up. So I think they could do it. I really think they could. Especially somebody like Zion Williamson, that'll be the first one I'll test because he already got that size. So he wouldn't even have to gain weight. He would just have to get acclimated. And with his quickness, with his foot quickness, I know he could be some offensive line. As a USC fan, I'll take Zion Williamson right now. As a USC fan, I'll take Zion Williamson right now. Like, I know you 6'7", but I need you to play nose tackle, bro. We talk about converting offensive linemen to defensive line. I bet you right now, any USC fan will take Zion Williamson right now on our defensive line. Y'all know I ain't lying. For reals, and be excited about it too. Like, ooh, he could jump, baby. He could jump right over the offensive lineman and sack the quarterback. Zion Williamson, he'd be cold on the blitz. I'll put him at middle linebacker. In every play, hey, you just run and jump over the center, try to sack the quarterback every play. Hop over the line of scrimmage. Zion Williamson got like a 40-inch vertical, 42-inch vertical. I'll be like, you line up at middle linebacker. I'll play Zion Williamson like Waterboy, Adam Sandler. You line up at middle linebacker and you just rush the quarterback every play. I don't care what it is. The quarterback drop back, you finna bull rush or you finna jump straight over the offensive line. Slam dunk. For reals, I mean, at USC, we got a basketball player body on our team. Eric Gentry, 6'10", 215, 220. He doing fine. He got his attributes, he got his strengths, his weaknesses, but he out there. So tell me what y'all think, man. Is Carter Sports bugging? Am I giving the NBA or basketball players too much love? Am I underestimating that gridiron? Because I played both. I played football and basketball on a high school level. Right? So I know everybody's on the basketball team. We all play football too. Maybe a couple too, like 2 or 3 didn't. But I remember being in high school, going from basketball practice straight to football practice. And 90% of the basketball team went to football practice. We'll be running our laps and doing our basketball drills and leave there and go straight to the weight room for football. So what y'all think, man? It's Carter Sports. You know, as always, Trojan City, Laker Nation, Dodgers, Chavez Ravine, all that in the building, LA. Man, tune in with me. What y'all think? I want to see y'all in the comments, man. Am I bugging? I think the NBA players can do it. They got a better chance than the NFL players. But until then, let's go.